What's up, sports bettors? We are going through two terrible teams. They're playing one another. We got the Broncos, let's ride, and then we also got the Las Vegas Raiders. So I'm going to be taking you through my best bets kind of for this game. I zoned in on a play I really like. We got the 2-1 Broncos versus the 0-3 Raiders, and I'm pretty excited about this game because I found a nice spot. So the Raiders are 2.5 point spread favorites. You can see the total is set at 45.5. In the money line, the Broncos are best offered at plus 130 on the Betfair exchange, and the Raiders are best offered at minus 133 on CoolBet. So if you're looking for a price to bet on the Raiders and you have this sportsbook available, it doesn't seem like a terrible line. So as a sharp better, this is kind of Sports Betting 101. Really, the point of the OddsJam YouTube is to give out some picks, hopefully make everyone some money here. We're actually up, 15.4K just with the picks I started giving out since the start of football season when we started tracking. So that's been pretty awesome. Hopefully you've been able to ride some of those. But, really the goal is also to just kind of educate you on sharp sports betting, profitable sports betting strategies. How do the pros think? How do people who gamble full-time think? How do people who are sharp bettors think about sports betting? And they obviously use a lot of data to inform their betting decisions. As shocking as it is, the people who have bet full-time on sports for a living for 25 years, aren't sitting at home, rolling up a joint and watching highlights of Russell Wilson. It's not how it works. The people who know how to make money sports betting, they typically have a good understanding of software, markets, math, stuff like that. So essentially, the most basic concept you'll learn on the OddsJam YouTube is you need to kind of treat every sportsbook as an independent data point, right? And what I mean by that is what makes sports betting so fascinating as a whole is you have all these different bookmakers setting different prices on the exact same asset. Right? So when I was a quant on Wall Street, there's like a price of a stock. There's typically not 100. What's so crazy about sports betting is you essentially have 100 different prices on the Denver Broncos money line, right? You can get them plus 125, betting 100 to win 125 on Win Creek. Some sportsbooks have them all the way down at plus 112, betting 100 to win 112, right? So every sportsbook is kind of pricing this game differently. And although, it may not seem like it matters that much, these differences in odds, they really make all the difference in the long run. You can see the Betfair exchange, they just ticked down to join CoolBet at minus 133 on the Raiders. So as a sharp better, you really have to be looking at data just to not get ripped off. Making money sports betting isn't that easy. It's not that hard, but it's also not that easy. But a surefire way to, lose your shirt sports betting is placing bets at plus 113 when there's a ton of other sportsbooks offering better prices, right? It's already hard enough to win at NFL betting. So then if you're also betting 17 cents worse than the best sportsbooks are offering, that's a terrible bet, right? You don't even have to know anything about football. If you're placing bets at plus 113 when there's another sportsbook in your location offering plus 130, you're going to lose long term, right? There are millions of dollars bet on the game. Millions and millions of dollars are being bet on the Broncos at plus 130 right now. Not right now, but millions of dollars being bet on this game. Right now, since we started recording the video, there's obviously been action on the Broncos-Raiders game, right? This is a very active market. It's a fair market. It's an efficient market. Just like the stock market, it's supply and demand. The market's constantly moving, evolving. Players get injured. Lineups change. Odds are constantly ticking around. So you need to look for value, right? You can't just watch some highlights and then be like, oh, the Broncos are for sure going to win. I'm betting on them. That's not how sharp sports betting works. You'll always lose money. So what I recommend doing is just before you ever place a bet, go to OddsJam. It's completely free. And just make sure you're getting a decent price, right? Just make sure you're not getting ripped off. The reason I started OddsJam was as a quant on Wall Street, you have so much data available to you because data is all that matters. In sports betting, nobody uses data basically, which is why, it's just so critical, if you actually want to win long term. And of course, sportsbooks don't promote line shopping. Why would DraftKings tell you to get a FanDuel account? Because they're offering a better line, right? That's not how it works. You got to learn this on the OddsJam YouTube, or you got to learn this through somebody who's, a professional sports trader, right? You really have to learn this information. So if you want to make money sports betting, you can feel free to comment ideas on this channel about what you want to see. But regardless, let's get into my play. So there are a lot of sports betting strategies you can kind of implement to make money, right? So one common, thing people like to do is called middle betting. So what is middle betting? Middle betting is essentially like when you take, two different bets. We'll go to a maybe more interesting example. Here's a good one. First quarter point spread. Lions minus 1.5 is plus 104 on Casumo. So Casumo setting the line for the Lions minus 1.5 at plus 104. You can get the Seahawks plus 2.5 on the first quarter point spread at plus 2.5, right? So there's this window of opportunity where if the Lions are winning at the end of the first quarter by 2 points, you would cash both bets. That's a middle bet. So that's a strategy people use to make money. And you can learn about any of the betting tools on OddsJam just by clicking the little help button. So what other strategies do people implement? Well, they implement, middle betting, very data driven. People implement arbitrage. Arbitrage is making risk-free money by betting the overs and unders on different sports books, right? Like here, you can see the first quarter money line for the Ravens-Bills game. The Bills are minus 103 on Pro Line, bet 103 to win back 100 in profit. And the Ravens are plus 125 on bet 365. So that's a massive discrepancy, right? Absolutely massive discrepancy. So arbitrage betting, you got to be quick. You're day trading sports. You are literally day trading sports. So you really, really got to be fast if you want to make money betting. So let's get into the play I have. No need to beat around the bush for too long. The play I have is the Broncos point spread. So I hit this for, 2.7% profit margin. I hit this for $500. So I always put my own money, on the plays I give out because I want you to see this is a system that works. This is a system, I believe in. Millions of people use this product every month, hit the site, browse odds to make money and try to make better bets and get a leg up on the sports books. And the way you're going to make the most money is definitely positive EV betting. So it's not like arbitrage betting where you're earning risk-free profits. How positive EV betting works is essentially it's just bets where you have the mathematical edge over the sports book, right? And you'll still have winning streaks, losing streaks like we can see yesterday. We got killed in Reds Cubs over 7. We just kept betting it. 750, 750, 1250. A lot of losses in a row. But you'll also notice as we continue to scroll, there will be some big wins. Here's this massive parlay win for $897. Here's another massive parlay win. So you still have winning streaks, losing streaks, but when all your bets have an edge, you win in the long run. So the way positive EV betting works is, OddsJam just kind of scans the market, all of these odds, and points out to you the biggest pricing discrepancies. Where is the most value in the market? Right? There's no BS, there's no handicapping. It's just data, right? You can't argue with data. It is literally just data. So the bet available currently is the Broncos plus 2.5 at plus 110 odds, right? So why do we like this play? Well, no other sportsbook's even giving us better than plus 100, right? So we're getting a lot of value. So as a sharp bettor, we say this all the time, but most point spreads and kind of totals are at minus 110, minus 110 odds, right? Like if you go to MLB totals, it's a lot of minus 110, minus 110, minus 110, minus 110, whatever. So what that means is you need to win 52.4% of your bets to break even. So Vegas has a 2.4% advantage on you, right? So sharp bettors, pro bettors, people who do this for a living, I aim to win on totals and point spreads kind of roughly 55% of the time. Most recreational bettors can't even win above 50.5% of the time. So the difference between winning on spreads and totals in the long run, 50 versus 55% of the time, that 5% difference makes all the difference between literally going broke sports betting and then having an edge in doing this full time for a living, right? If you're winning on point spreads and totals 55% of the time, you can bet on sports full time, right? You really can if you can get down enough volume. It really is a volume game. So like here, it's like we're clearly getting enough value to beat the VIG. This is an arbitrage bet to points bet. So again, I highly recommend you learn about arbitrage so you can watch this little tutorial on the tool. You know, there's like a little quick start wizard. Go through it all. It's really useful. The goal of OddsJam is to help make you more money sports betting. And just very clearly, like, you know, getting plus 110 here is absolutely ridiculous value. So I hit it, as you can see, for 500 bucks. And it's a play I'm going with. So 500 bucks, 2.7% profit margin, 1350 in EV on this play. So in other words, you take your profit margin in a percent form, you multiply it by your stake, that gets you your profit margin in dollars. So in other words, like, I'm not going to give you my bet if you try to give me a $10 bill. I bet the Broncos plus 2.5 at plus 110 odds. I'm not going to give you my bet if you give me a $10 bill because my bet is worth $13.50. That's the profit margin of my bet in dollars. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Sharp sports betting, really just using the EV tool. You know, you're not going to win every day. You're not going to win every bet. You'll even notice that in our profit tracking sheet. Like, you know, we have losses. You know, we started out with a lot of losses, and then we started to get positive, and then we lost a bunch of more bets in a row, and then we went on a winning streak. But when you have the edge, you always win in the long run, which is what matters, right? It's about having an edge and winning in the long run. And Broncos plus 2.5 at plus 110. Incredible play, incredible value. So hopefully you're able to lock it in. Place a bunch of positive EV bets. Form your own little sports betting hedge fund. And let's make some money, guys.